Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Melina Mala, and I am your host, and this is The Becoming. We are on episode 27. Thank you so much for all those who have listened this far, and thank you to myself for showing up consistently for 27 weeks. The change happens over time, and that is something I am learning in this process. Being open, being vulnerable, that takes time. And this episode is going to be about process and the becoming, a chance to reflect on why I started this podcast. I started this podcast at a really uncertain time in my life. And in this time, I was navigating and creating through survival, using art as a form of therapy, learning that art is a tool for me as therapy, expression, all of it, just connecting you back to yourself, grounding in the present moment. And since starting the podcast, I have continuously showed up in my own becoming through daily action to become that version of self and to walk with my highest self. It's amazing how strong and powerful you really are when you're forced to look inside and dig deeper. When you are in those uncertain moments, that is when you build resilience. Through experience, growing your capacity of what you can handle, allowing your nervous system to evolve and adapt, and trusting that no matter the discomfort, it's never going to last. Allowing yourself to sit in that. I think that's really what the process teaches us in our own becomings. We're never going to get to that end result if we don't go through the process of growing, changing, facing difficult things. You're never going to be able to escape the discomfort, so why not learn how to sit in it, allow it to exist, and move through it? There's a saying, when you're going through hardship, it means that you're being planted. And when you find yourself in that dark liminal space, it's a chance for you to either choose to stay stuck in this pot or to grow and evolve and spread your roots. That's a beautiful way to look at it, very picturesque. When you're in uncertain moments, you're being planted to choose different or to remain the same. I do believe a lot of our lives we have choice as much as things are written, and I believe that there's divine timing for everything. We have the choice. We're going to reach that next step, next level version of self through conscious decision making, autonomy, and agency over your body, being able to choose how you get to feel inside your body. That's where our power truly lies. We can dream up anything we want. Doesn't mean it's all going to happen. But why not give ourselves the opportunity to let our inner child play and dream and just go for it? Why are we holding back from our dreams? And that's something I did for a long time until I was like, enough is enough. We only get one life and this is it. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to have what ifs. I want to try everything and give myself the chance to try everything. And I think when I left home, that 18-year-old girl knew in her heart what she desired, what she deserved. And I couldn't be more grateful for that version of self who has such resilience, strength, and stubbornness. I think there was a fire in her and nothing was putting it out. I'm grateful for all my experiences. And although setting boundaries is hard, it was so necessary. You can hold love, compassion, and anger, baby. You can hold it all, and you can trust yourself when you know that you've given it your all, and there's nothing more you can do. Trust that voice inside of you. Trust your gut intuition. It's not leading you wrong today. I want to talk about everything happens for a reason, and everything happens in time. That is what it means to trust the process and to keep showing up. To believe in yourself first and foremost, to believe in something greater than you, and to ground yourself in the present moment, always anchoring back into yourself. Realizing, being conscious and aware to when the spiral happens or when you're feeling dysregulated from the constant ebbs and flows of life. The process is going to happen regardless. You can't really expect, and this is what I've learned, you just can't expect certain outcomes. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen a year from today. So why try to control that? And that's something I'm learning through this process of showing up. Why am I trying to control things so hard? Expect this certain outcome when none of it is really in my control. What's in my control is if I react or if I respond. This is a topic I always talk about because you do have the choice on the direction your life goes, how you feel in your body during your life. If you're choosing to break free from fear and shame and guilt, and you're the one carving that path, you're going to need to anchor, but trust the process and flow with the ebbs and flows of life, because nothing is guaranteed, nothing is certain, but you are here, you are present, and you are grounded in this moment. And through mindful practices such as yoga, meditation, introspection, all of those tools I've acquired over my years and journey of healing have been so powerful in me becoming her, the version I see myself as, becoming her, and just embodying it and trusting, because it's all just embodiment. There's that fact you need to pretend to sleep before you even fall asleep. You do that whole routine, that whole action to get yourself ready to sleep. You don't question it. So there are all these stories and narratives that we tell ourselves. We believe them. This is how we lead and live our lives. So you can change your story at any point. The rest is just unwritten. We love Natasha Bedingfield. Back to the chat. I want you listening right here, right now, to pause. Breathe in through your nose. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. We're gonna do a breathing exercise. Quick box breathing. 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds. And repeat it as many times as you need. Now, inhale through your nose. Hold for 4 seconds. And release out your nose. Push all the air out. As you're breathing, slowly start to ground into that feeling of airflow into your body. The rising of your chest, the expansion of your stomach. Let yourself feel it all. Don't worry about not having any thoughts or not doing it right or doing it perfectly. Just exist right here, right now, in this moment of breath. Through these mindfulness practices, you ground back and you anchor. And in my healing journey, in this process of becoming, it has always been anchoring. I had to learn exactly what my wounds were. I had to understand, okay, I've been traumatized through intergenerational trauma. How are we going to move through this and work through this and not let it be the story? How are we going to break free from that story and write our own narrative? And with writing your own narrative, there is no blueprint. You are the blueprint. Take that in. The process is you creating from your imagination, but from experience, from inner knowing and inner trust. And if you're listening here today, I know we're in the process of becoming, baby. We're doing this together. This is our lives. We only get one, and we've chosen ourselves. And we continue to choose ourselves over and over again. There's nothing and nobody really getting in the way of that. Now, even in my healing of intergenerational trauma, there was a lot of this fear with the unknown. But there is ways of being that you need to learn through experience and understanding of the self. And that is something that intrigues me a lot in spirituality. The healing and becoming process has been, honestly, for me, I didn't have a strong belief in God, really, because I always had this fear of religion and God. Not that I was brought up in a way that did this, but I think those are wounds passed down from intergenerational trauma. None of this is anybody's fault. Intergenerational trauma is just how it goes and how it surfaces in our lives. And you can either recognize what's happening and that times are different and be more open-minded and adapt to change, that we're all one collective. We're all here together facing life and the world as it is. Nobody is wrong, and we're just living life as we would feel called to in order to make it a better place. And I think the purpose in this collective is to make life a better place, to shine our light on the world, to unmute, to use our voice, our expression, allow what is coming in to come out into the world. You share your gifts when you are living your most authentic, self-led life. I think that's what we all strive for, genuinely. When we're in our process of becoming, we know what we're like when we're shiny and feeling good inside, because that radiates outwards and that expands. It shines light and forces people to either look at themselves in the mirror clearly, or it inspires people depending on where they're at. And everybody is on their own journey and process of becoming. We're all in different stages. The spiritual journey, the embodied life, the God life, I want to say for myself, because my relationship with God has grown significantly. I pray to God, I seek God, I even go to church at times, and I have a cross that gives me peace. These are things I was not brought up with. This is a realization in myself and in my own spiritual journey, and what narrative, what story do I want to lead and live my life and values with. When it comes to identifying as a certain religion, I wouldn't say I do at the moment. I'm spiritual, and that is my journey. There are different ways of being that give you comfort. There are different stories and narratives that people believe. There are things that we don't even know. At the end of the day, I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect your values if you respect my values. No matter what, we're all going to have different beliefs. People need to accept that. The process of becoming, when I chose to leave at 18, there was no question that the place wasn't right for me, the environment wasn't right for me, because my soul wanted more. And even from a young age, you know you're different. You know when you're kind of planning, okay, what is my life going to look like? I'm seeing all these examples in front of me. Do I want this path? Not necessarily. Your inner voice, your intuition, your soul that came here for a reason will react in your body if you're not honoring yourself, if you're not embodying and letting yourself fully exist. And unfortunately, that is labeled early on as stress in the body, but stress is a motivator. Stress is going to push you to get there. And if we can reframe how we see these things that are supposed to debilitate us and make us want to numb out and dysregulate, we have the power to control how we respond to this. The stress you experience is a signal, and as something needs to change, you need to move. It doesn't mean, okay, now I'm going to take cover and be scared. No. Through healing and through this process of becoming, the tools you acquire through therapy genuinely help you lead and navigate life. Through talking about your inner world and understanding why you have certain habits, routines, thought patterns, learning that none of this is you, but also learning how to take accountability. The healing journey is not fun, quote unquote, but it is fun because you get to learn so much about yourself, different versions of yourself. You get to exist fully as yourself. There's so much good that comes out of therapy, and I think anybody would benefit from therapy. And I understand it's not accessible. I understand that it's not for everyone. We're in a collective that is living through this. I have all this knowledge. This is why I want to create art. This is why I want to share just from experience and learning that what you do, what you say provides value to everyone. All of us have something of value. We are all valuable as we are. We chose to be here. We chose to live in this lifetime, to incarnate in these bodies. We're here on a mission, and we're here with purpose. I believe God, divine, higher being, created each and every one of us with the purpose to shine our light, to face the darkness, and show others that anything is possible. Through my healing journey and this process of becoming, it's been about learning gratitude. You don't realize how much your life has changed, and I keep coming back to this because it's true. Life moves so fast. When you bring yourself back and you anchor in the present moment, you're just here. You're in control, you're witness to your becoming, and it's a really beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong, you will go back into old coping mechanisms, and they will come up. For instance, binge eating. That is something that was learned at a very young age, to seek comfort in food. And every time I feel this compulsion almost, and now with awareness, I can recognize when I'm about to shame or spiral deeper into this binge eating disorder. It's a really uncomfortable feeling, and you don't realize sometimes how many emotions are coming into play that your body just wants to shut down and numb out and not sit in the discomfort. The moment you catch the trigger and you observe yourself going through the thought process of, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm not going to shame you for seeking that form of comfort. And you don't shame yourself after the fact. You just learn for next time that your body is a safe place to land, that you can control how you feel the next day. You can trust yourself to give yourself what you need, and you're not going to deny yourself or numb out. And you're not going to label it anymore as something negative about you, because it's not a character trait. It's a habit formed for survival at a very young age. This is the easiest way for us to get a quick dopamine, the feel-good hormones and chemicals. It's not a fault of you. It's a biological response that you can control and you choose. You have autonomy and agency over how you feel in your body. And that is what anchoring back in will do. When you are in that high stress, you're going to spiral back into old coping mechanisms, perhaps, but it doesn't mean you're stuck there. It's like you're going to sling right back to where you were because of that awareness and that choice to not shame yourself and see it as a pattern that needs to live out its life until it slowly goes away. And I believe we're all capable of changing the habits of our coping mechanisms through awareness, conscious decision making, compassion, and gratitude. We can really lead a life in our authenticity and accepting of what life is going to be like, enjoying life, not wanting to speed it up, fast forward, or rewind. At the end of the day, our lives are so short and they move so fast. It's nice to anchor in, pause, and choose a different path for yourself. Because you can either repeat the cycle and stay the same, or you can choose to evolve. Evolving is going to force you to sit in your discomfort. It's just how it is, but it's so worth it. Well, that was a lovely episode 27 recording. I am going to end the podcast here. Thank you so much for listening. If there's one thing I want you to hold on to is this. The next time you've noticed stress and you're in a stressful, uncomfortable position, pause, take a deep breath, inhale for 4 seconds, hold it, and do that breath exercise of box breathing. Try it out. Now, I'm still building Anchor. Anchor is going to be a mindfulness wellness tool. Do I know exactly what it looks like yet? No, but this is the becoming, and Anchor is a tool. I am going to leave it at that because she's still workshopping and we're making her a reality, and I'm going to leave that body of work as it is right now because I do want to release it in a way that feels completely aligned, and I think that's a process in itself that I'm trusting right now. This week, remember that you got this. You have the power. You're doing it every day, and we're becoming, baby. Every day, with every decision, every time we choose to respond instead of react, we're choosing to live authentically as our highest selves. Take care of yourself and water yourself. My name is Melina Mala, and I am your host, and this is The Becoming. I'm here every Tuesday. See you next week. Bye for now.